Do you ever feel that your mother guilt trips you? That she emotionally blackmails you? Do you ever feel weirdly like your mother might actually be in competition with you? My name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I'm a relationship expert and the founder of the Real Love Revolution. And if you nodded your head yes to those three questions, and there's a bunch more, you might have a narcissistic mother. And I promise you, if you have a narcissistic mother, you absolutely know it. It is one of the most painful experiences, especially to be the daughter of a narcissistic mother. So, in this Real Love Revolution video, I'm going to be talking about different kinds of narcissistic mothers, signs, like what are the behavior that they display, and then we're going to move into how can you thrive despite having had this experience. I'll have some ideas for you. So let's start with the fact that there are two different kinds of narcissistic mothers that we don't really hear that much about. There's the engulfing narcissist, and this is a mother who sees you, the daughter, as an extension of themselves, right? So any achievements that you attain will automatically be theirs by default, right? Which is it's pretty painful. And then there's the ignoring narcissist, which I don't know, they're equally as painful. They really have no interest in their daughters' lives and take little care of them while they're growing up, right? They continue to focus most of their energy and attention on themselves. So it's really counterintuitive because in this culture, especially the American culture, many of you are from other countries who are watching this right now. So I'm really just speaking about the American culture where mothers are held up in this very, very high standard. And it's looked down upon to speak ill of your mother. And it's almost like having a narcissistic mother, this type of insidious abuse, because that's exactly what it is so hard to put a finger on because it doesn't leave any scars. But it is, of course, it leaves scars, and you know this if you're having this experience internally. But narcissists, whether they're ignoring or the smothering kind, they still care what everyone thinks. So they have this ability to still make the outside look really good. It's bizarre. The behavior is bizarre, but if you have that experience, you know it incredibly intimately. So let's just talk about some of the behavior that narcissistic mothers display that is so painful to be on the receiving end of. One is, listen, a lot of mothers emotionally blackmail their kids to a degree, right? So this isn't only narcissistic mothers, but definitely they do. So they really play that guilt card with you, right? So they don't want you to have an independent life of them. They'll say, I can't cope without you. If you go, I won't be here when you get back. That's the type of languaging that you'll hear a lot of times from a narcissistic mother. And other forms of like emotional blackmail that make you feel terrible. And then the straight up guilt trip, right? They want complete control over you and over your behavior. So guilt tripping is one of the ways to do it, right? They'll also, how they guilt you is telling you all the things that they sort of gave up for you, all the things that they did for you. And like now you owe them because of that, right? Third indication is that they withdraw love if you don't do what they say and what they want you to do, right? So we think usually mother's love is being pretty unconditional, right? I mean, that's the dream, basically. A narcissistic mother, their love, and you know it, is super conditional. That the moment you're not doing what they want you to do, they will withdraw all love and support, and instead they'll give you the silent treatment or straight out punish you. And this is another thing that with mothers who are not narcissistic, you don't really have this, is that they're in competition with their daughters. And it feels, that to me is like that's a really, really hard one. Anything that you've done, it's like your mother has done better, has done more. They've done it all and have the jewelry to prove it, right? They've gotten the t-shirt. You haven't done it all. If you have attained something special or done something kind of special in your life, they really want to take it away from you, which again, to me, seems very counterintuitive as a mother myself, right? It could be a person, an achievement, or even just an object. So that's, wow, bad. And really, another thing, and this is painful, and this happens in other cultures as well. There could be a cultural element to this one, but if you accomplish anything, your mother jumps on it and makes it her own, right? It is their success and really not, it is your mom's success and really not yours. They'll say that you get your talent. She'll say you get it from her, whether it's being able to sing or your athletic prowess, your writing ability, whatever it may be. But the center of attention will never really be yours. It just can't be yours. They just can't tolerate it, And also a really big one is that you were lied to constantly as a child. There was a lot of confusion about what was real and what was made up from your mother, because she would use lying to control you, even as a little kid. So that is really confusing. You were there for her entertainment, her pleasure, her goals, to further her agenda, but it really wasn't about you. It's like the ultimate way of feeling used. And then sadly, they have no empathy, right? We know this as narcissistic mothers have no empathy. So to really sit down and try to have a heart-to-heart with your narcissistic mother, it's not going to happen. Although a narcissistic mother is good at pretending. But because you're the one having the conversations, they pretend to other people that they have empathy. But really, a lot of narcissistic mothers are really sadistic. And they will exploit anything you ever tell them. It will come back later to haunt you. They will take something that is sensitive about you and publicly, use it to embarrass you. Tell someone about it. They're constantly triangulating in your relationships, meaning they're making inappropriate relationships with the people who are related to you, being friends with your friends. Okay, but that's not appropriate because your mother's a grown woman, or trying to be. So trying to have a heart-to-heart conversation that is really filled with emotion with a narcissistic mother is not happening. You are always insulted. Very insulting. Your mother will berate you, insult you on a constant basis. It's really a way to control and make you feel insecure, which is, again, so counterintuitive, because a healthy parent, all you want is for your children to feel secure. That's all you want. All you want. I pray that my kids do everything better than me in life. I want them to do everything better, Please be more successful. Please make more money. Be happy. Be joyful. Be healthy. Travel more, whatever it is. Because to me, that makes me feel like my husband and I did a good job of giving them the skills to make it in life. But that's not a narcissistic mom or narcissistic parents. That's not what it's about for them. They don't have the capacity to do it. And gaslighting, you know what that is? I've done a bunch of things on gaslighting. Is where someone is constantly denying your reality, right? They're trying to, they tell you how you feel. They tell you how it really was, not how you think it was, right? It's so scary to be involved with someone who's doing this to you. It's a way that they make you question your sanity. And again, with narcissistic mothers, it's all about control and bringing the center of attention back to them. So that is one of the ways, because if someone does this to you long enough, and you're of course not expecting them to, you really don't trust yourself. You become dependent on them, right? Because you can't trust your own judgment from what it is that they're saying and doing. And then the last thing that I'll put on this list is that they blow every little bit of criticism out of proportion, right? You cannot confront your narcissistic mother if she's narcissistic with the truth, with what you think is the truth, because actually she will do anything. They could just become a raving lunatic around you confronting them. And because it's basically they're trying to beat you back into submission. Super thin-skinned, the narcissistic mother. And so if you have any criticism, it's like they respond completely over the top and ridiculous. Now, I didn't need to do 10 of these indication of a narcissistic mother, because those of you who have a narcissistic mother absolutely know that you do. So let's talk about how you can heal and thrive after having survived a narcissistic mother, shall we? The first ways of drawing boundaries and healing from having a narcissistic mother is to actually really limit your contact. Because really the goal is to prevent further abuse, right? Further damage while healing the past that you've already experienced, the past abuse you've already had. So, I mean, no contact or low contact is what I would suggest, even though for daughters of narcissistic mothers, this is incredibly scary. But you have to do it, right? If you want to heal and thrive, you can't continue to be putting out these kinds of fires emotionally while new injuries are coming in. Do you know what I mean? So some things that you can do for yourself is to learn everything that you can about narcissism. You know, there's so many resources out there for daughters of narcissistic mothers, very specifically. So I will also we'll have a little list at the end of the checklist, because you will have a checklist that you can download at the end of this video. And I'll put a few of the best books that I know of that are really, really helpful, because the real important thing and the most helpful and optimistic thing is that you can heal from this experience, but it really does require you to draw boundaries and to take the situation, like you have to take control of the situation. And that's really scary for the daughter of a narcissist. And this is the whole thing, is about setting boundaries. And you know, it's a process, just like everything else. So the boundary doesn't have to be super, super rigid, or it can be. It really depends on how your mother responds to you, basically individuating and separating from her. If she's the smothering kind of narcissist, right, that she'll respond one way. And if she is the ignoring and the neglectful kind, she'll respond another. But all narcissists need their narcissistic supply, they call it. So it doesn't matter what style of narcissism your mother is, she's not going to be into you drawing boundaries with her. She's not going to. But you have to find support, right? You have to find, there are online groups, there are all of these websites. You really have to find support. And if you have never considered being in therapy, do it. Because this is a gift that you can give yourself. This is a very specific kind of abuse, super insidious. And you really need someone who knows what they're doing, who knows about it, to be able to help you. Reaching out, that's the first thing, is just the baby steps of either joining a group or getting a therapist, you know. But I have to say, daughters of narcissistic mothers, you know, they've really taught you to distrust everyone, to be on guard, that nobody has your best interest at heart except them. So take your time and begin slowly, but I do think that it's important that you start to reach out and understand that you really do need support in this area, because how else is it going to change, you know? Then the next thing I want you to think about is taking your focus off trying to change the narcissist and really putting it on your recovery only, because this is recovering. This is actually what we're talking about right now, is to thrive being the daughter of a narcissist. You must be in recovery from the abuse itself. And I find that so many of my clients who've had narcissistic mothers spend a lot of time really having the hope that the mother will change, the hope that if they're good enough, or if they do it right, or if they use the exact right words, that the mother won't be punishing or withdrawn or mean or lash back. And yet that isn't the case. It's not about them. Your entire life has been about them. Now it's about you. So this, I find that with a lot of my clients, this is a really hard change to make, but I know that you can do it. I know that you can do it because it's all about you. It's got to be all about you, right? You've survived a whole bunch of crap that most people don't even know about, but I do, and I see you. And what I want you to know is that you deserve to be loved, to not be secretly and silently being tortured still. Adult daughters of narcissistic mothers, unless you decide to get into recovery, I guarantee you are still being abused, still dealing with the blackmail, having everything be co-opted by them, have it all be about them. It is so incredibly, incredibly painful. And I feel you, I see you, but I want you to know that you are not alone, and that I'm witnessing you and also inspiring you to really be courageous, because you're strong. You've already endured what most people won't and have no idea about. You can definitely do this. So another thing is figuring out, like, feeling your anger. As the daughter of a narcissist, you've learned to sort of stuff it in, because anger, especially at the narcissist, was certainly not tolerated. So I'd say probably 90% of depression in daughters of narcissistic mothers is repressed anger. So what do? Right? We have to find a way to get it out, because what ends up happening is that it will explode in all of these unexpected places that are safer, right? And it also becomes physical illness. So you've got to honestly deal with how angry you are, because there's no way to heal if you don't allow yourself to process the anger. And so there's so many different ways you can write about it. With a narcissist, again, with a narcissistic mother, you're not going to work this out with her. This is about you working it out within you and managing her instead of trying to change her. It's truly giving yourself permission to limit or cut off completely a narcissistic mother if the toxicity that she is creating in your life is debilitating, because you don't deserve it. And here's the thing, the mental illness that your mother has, she doesn't have the capacity to take you in. So it is the most brutal experience, because a narcissistic mother a true narcissistic mother does not have the capability of loving you. And so you can sacrifice and throw yourself under the bus and do all of these things that you've already done, and it won't change her. And no matter how much you give and do and sacrifice, it will never, ever be enough. So don't sacrifice yourself. Don't do it. Limit, no matter how much she guilts you, limit your contact, because that is your right. And if you have children, spare them, because trust me, she's not just being cruel to you. She's being cruel to them too, in her own way. It just goes through generations. So you can get most of this information. I'm going to have a little cheat sheet for you that you can just download. So all you need to do is just click the link and go there, because this was a lot of information. But I don't want you to give up. I really want you to know that you can heal from this, and you have a right to be seen, to be actually seen and loved for who you really are. And I can tell you, as a licensed psychotherapist, that that is completely possible for you to do. So I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please share it on social media and send it to people who you think might benefit from it. Any of you ladies out there, if you have not joined the Real Love Revolution, I have a free tribe that gives you lots of gifts. I have a free live stream monthly where I answer all of your questions. All you need to do is go to terricole.com/RLR and you will be invited into the Facebook group and you will get on the list to get all the free goodies. So I hope you have an amazing week. And as always, take care of you.